Hey everyone, you're probably still thinking about that Dolphins win over the Rams on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, definitely a big one for Miami.
23-15 final score.
Yeah.
And with that, they broke their 3-game losing streak. But you know what? It's not just the score that makes this game interesting. There were some pretty big surprises, especially when it comes to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, for sure. Not the typical Dolphins win when you think about how Hill usually plays.
Exactly. Hill is known for just torching defenses with those deep catches. But this time, it was a really quiet night for him. Statistically speaking, at least. Only 3 catches for 16 yards. That's almost unheard of for him. How do you explain that in the game they won?
Well, the Rams, they went in with a very specific defensive plan. It was all about containing Hill. They knew he was the biggest threat. So they used a mix of cover 2 and bracket coverage to take away those deep routes, basically double-teaming him, keeping a safety over the top, really daring the Dolphins to beat them with anyone else.
So it worked. They managed to shut down one of the most dynamic receivers in the league.
To a large extent, yeah. Hill had his lowest receiving yardage of the whole season. But here's the thing. The Rams shut him down, but the Dolphins still won.
Okay, so that's what's so interesting. If Hill wasn't the key to this victory, then who was? How did they pull it off?
Well, the Dolphins' defense really stepped up. They were dominant, held the Rams scoreless in the red zone. They became the first team this entire season to stop the Rams from scoring a touchdown. Pretty big statement, if you ask me.
I'm curious, though, what specifically stood out to you about the Dolphins' defense? Was it a specific player, a certain scheme, or just their overall intensity?
It was a few things, actually. Their defensive line put constant pressure on Matthew Stafford, the Rams quarterback, forced him into making quick decisions, threw off their whole offensive rhythm. And on top of that, their secondary, led by Xavier Howard, played really tight coverage all night. They shut down the Rams receivers, tackled well, didn't give up any big plays. That was crucial.
Right, so the defense was on fire, but they still had to score points. Where did the offense come from if Hill wasn't racking up yards?
That's the other surprising part. Devon Achane, the rookie running back, had a breakout game. He was actually the Dolphins' leading receiver, caught 5 passes.
So it seems like they found a way to change their offensive approach. Not relying so much on Hill's big plays. I think this could be a trend going forward.
It's definitely possible. Coach McDaniel is known for his creative play calling. This game might be a sign that they're looking for ways to mix things up on offense, utilize other players' strengths.
And let's not forget, even though Hill's stats were low, he still had a big impact on the game.
Absolutely. He scored that touchdown that put Miami up 17-6 in the third quarter. That was a turning point. You know, even when he wasn't getting a ton of targets, a threat, the Rams had to account for it.
After the game, Hill said, "Don't count us out. Here we come." What do you make of that statement, especially considering everything we've talked about, the win, his own performance, and the whole team effort?
I think it says a lot. On one hand, it's a message to the rest of the league saying, hey, the Dolphins might be down, but we're not out. We're still hungry. We can still compete.
But there's more to it than just that, right?
All right. I think it also shows that he understands the team's situation. They've had some tough losses this season. Injuries. Some people might be doubting that. But this win, it came from grit, from their defense, from unexpected players. It shows that they can be dangerous, even when Hill is the center of it.
So it's a statement of belief in the team as a whole.
Exactly. It's about resilience. It's a next man up mentality. It's saying we can win in different ways and we're not going anywhere. And that's a powerful message to send both to their opponents and to their own locker room.
This win really changed how we usually think about the Dolphins. It's not just the Tyreek Hill show anymore. This team has a lot more to offer than we thought.
For sure. They showed a different side of themselves. It'll be interesting to see how they build on this moving forward.
So what does this win tell us about their potential for the rest of the season? Can they use this momentum to turn things around?
That's the big question. You know, they've shown they can be great, but they haven't been consistent. To really make a run, they need to keep doing the things that work.
Like what specifically? What should they focus on to keep this momentum going?
First things first, that defensive intensity, they need to hold on to that. If they can keep shutting down teams like they did against the Rams, they'll be competitive in every game. That means pressuring the quarterback, no big plays, force some turnovers.
Okay, and what about on offense? They prove they can move the ball without just relying on Hill. Can they maintain that kind of balance?
That's the key right there, finding ways to get other guys involved. Achane, Waddle, if they can be a threat with multiple weapons, it makes them so much harder to defend, takes the pressure off Hill, forces the other team to respect everyone.
Speaking of Achane, his performance was a real surprise. Think he can keep contributing?
Well, he's got the talent, but rookie running backs, you never know. It depends on how he adjusts to the NFL, how the offensive line plays, and of course the play calling.
It feels like this win could be a turning point for the Dolphins, right? They had to adapt, showed their depth, and maybe got that confidence boost they needed.
It could be. But potential only takes you so far. They need to prove they can do it again. against tougher opponents. These next few weeks will be telling. They're going up against some divisional rivals with really strong defenses.
So it's a test of their resilience.
Yeah.
And their ability to adapt.
Exactly. If they can get a few wins in a row against good teams, then we can start talking about them as contenders. But for now, it's one game at a time. Build on what worked and show that they can be.
It's funny how one game can change the whole narrative around a team. You know, 3-game losing streak, people question everything,
Right.
and now suddenly there's this feeling of optimism.
That's the NFL for you. Things can change fast. One big win can change the mood, boost confidence, open up all sorts of possibilities.
So you're saying don't write them off just yet?
Definitely not. They've got too much talent, a great coach, and now it seems like they've got that belief back in them. This is a team to watch.
For everyone listening, I think the takeaway here is the Dolphins are more than just one player. They've got the pieces to succeed, even when their star player is having a quiet night. The question is, can they build on that, become a truly consistent team?
That's what we'll be looking for in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
This was a big win. Now they need to back it up. It definitely makes you think about what kind of team they really are.
It shows you that in the NFL, one game can make a huge difference. It can change everything. It can be like a spark that ignites a team's potential.
We see it all the time. Teams find a way to win when things are tough. They overcome adversity, they prove everyone wrong, and suddenly they have this confidence, this momentum.
It's almost like a mental shift more than anything.
Exactly. One win like this can change the whole story around a team. It shuts down the critics, boosts morale, gives players a reason to believe. And belief, that's a powerful thing in sports.
So looking ahead, the big question is, can the Dolphins keep this going? Can they take the good things from this game and turn it into consistent success?
That's what we have to wait and see. The NFL is unpredictable. Nothing is guaranteed, but they've shown us what they're capable of. And that's
It's going to be interesting to watch how they handle this, how they deal with expectations, and ultimately whether they can live up to this potential.
One thing's for sure. This Dolphins team is worth keeping an eye on. They have the talent, the coaching, and now maybe they have the to really shake things up.
It just goes to show you, in the NFL, anything is possible.
And that's what makes
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.